Ah, hello. Hello. Okay, first things first. Can everybody hear me okay? It's always the most nerve-wracking part of this. Uh, Good evening, Dale. I am delighted to spend my evening. Oh well, thanks. No, I'm delighted you're here as well. Thank you very much. Pepsi Scroll. Hi. Yes. Say Hooven99, thank you. Hi, Calvin. Can't wait for your Octopussy review. When's it coming out? Oh, well, that's a good question to get started. Hello, Billy Mount, third. Movie guy, Drew Bradley, Corbinian. Well, Octopussy, I'm actually working on an awful lot today, so I'm hoping that it's all going to be ready to upload a week today, which means that patron supporters should get it maybe Wednesday is the kind of time that I'm aiming for. But I did a load of work on it today, so I'm actually really pleased with it so far. It's been quite good. Oh, hey everyone. Hey, James Shaw, Cara Connolly, Justin Simerson, Billy Robertson. Hey Billy. Kane Watkins. Hello, Tom Patton. Hello, Tom Patton. Joshua Parham, hello. Oh, it's nice seeing so many familiar names. Peter McCormick, hello. Charlie Nice, hello. Oh, Fraser, hello. Andy Bragg, hello. Okay, right. So let's get things started. Okay, so as advertised, I have here a bottle. This was a Christmas present of the Blackwell 007 rum, which I believe is named after Chris Blackwell, who I believe owns GoldenEye now, like Ian Fleming's home. Ben Cole. Just saw Ben Cole. Hello, Ben Cole. Hope you're having a good evening. Douglas, Barry, Ali. Okay, so I'm going to need some assistance first because I have a couple of. Someone was recommending I drink this with pineapple juice. I don't have any pineapple juice to hand. I've just got a little Coke Zero here to have it in a bigger glass, so I don't get too hammered too quickly. But I do have a small glass here because I would like to just taste it neat. Now, the question that I have, if anyone can help me with this, because I don't know, should I drink it neat but with like a cube of ice, or should I just drink it straight from the glass without any ice, with just completely on its own? Is that a better way to taste rum? I don't really know. I'm not much of a rum drinker, you see, so I don't really know. No ice. Okay, I'm seeing. Thank you, Matthew. Justin. First, hello, Justin. Oh, Tom Patton says ice. Vinny, no ice. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of no ice. Okay, I'm going to go with no ice. It's really nice little. It's almost a shame to open this. It's one of those bottles of something that's like, oh, this is actually quite. I guess that this was supposed to be released to tie into No Time to Die. Obviously, I think at the end of last year, but obviously didn't happen. I'm sure we'll get into that soon. Oh, hello, Lorenzo. When are you going to do reviews? N64 World is not enough. Oh, hopefully that'll be my next game review, is what I'm hoping. Ooh, sorry, this just the cork. It was almost like a champagne cork. Like, I think this might pop. Oh, it didn't pop. Sorry, that was a very. It's got this bottle cap. All right, so I have no indication of what this is going to be like. Someone, David Lee, in fact, David Lee of the James Bond dossier. I was talking to him on Friday, and he said that he thinks I might quite like this because I'm normally a bourbon drinker, much like M in GoldenEye. I do like a bourbon. He said that this is actually quite bourbony. Right, okay. Here we go. All right, okay, so I'm just going to have a little measure of it neat, just so we can see what it's like, and then I'm going to drink it with Coke. It's a lovely goldeny color, is that? Mark, down it. Well, cheers, everyone. Happy Sunday. I have a day off tomorrow, so that's why I'm drinking on a school night. So thank you for joining me. But cheers to your health, everyone. Oh, that's not half bad. Oh, that's that's lovely. That's really nice. Okay, B says color looks awkward. Does it? Very dark, I must say, but looks like Ribena. Cheers, Fletcher. Cheers. Oh, Ralph, hello. Happy Sontag indeed. Oh, JPC Artworks, cheers. Cheers to you as well. Cheers. Simon, here's to us indeed. Oh yeah, no, this is actually really agreeable. Yeah, I'm gonna down it. Oh, that's actually really nice. Okay, I'm going to pour me another one with some Coke, and in the meanwhile, feel free to ask me anything in the chat box. These things are always very informal. Some of you probably know the drill by now. I just sort of sit here and drink a bit and chat a bit. But it's nice to have some company, so thank you for joining me. We don't have to talk about the No Time to Die delays. If it comes up, we'll talk about it. But it's yeah, I don't know if everyone's just sick of hearing about it now. I do get the sense that the reaction from everyone was general ambivalence of kind of like, well, we all knew this was going to happen, so whatever. But yeah. Okay, well, I see some questions already. So, any more book reviews? Maybe skip John Gardner. I do actually have a couple of the John Gardner ones here to my side, and I keep saying I'm going to get back on them eventually. I'm going to get back on them eventually, but I just never have it in me. It's really annoying because the whole pandemic thing really screwed up my whole reading routine. I really only ever used to read on my commute, and now I'm not commuting because I can work from home, which is a privilege, of course, but it does mean that I need to make more time to read. Right, sorry, I'm just going to pour myself some Coke into this rum. I'm actually quite impressed at how nice this rum is. It's really, really quite nice. Anyway. Cheers again, everyone. Oh, Calvin, your DB5 model in the background is awesome. Yes, no, I've never really done a proper video on this, but this was a gift from years ago now. I think it was when I was at university, which was, well, 10 years ago at least, but I think it's called the Danbury Mint one, and it's got a few gadgets. It's got the number plate changes. I don't know if you can see this on this camera, but yeah, it is a really lovely, lovely model. One of my favorites, actually. You might have also noticed I've got a couple of other Bond ornaments here that were Christmas-related gifts. Got little Jack from Skyfall and Spectre, and is going to be in No Time to Die, apparently, according to his little mark on the bottom. But yeah, that's him. And then, of course, Funko Pop Roger, because with his little Moonraker laser, because they got me, the Funko Pop people. I'm not a massive fan of Funko Pops at all, but I saw this and I was like, God, they've got me. I can't not have this on my shelf. So there we go. 2 new installments in the collection. Super chat. Thank you very much, Cool Boys Backyard. It's very kind of you. You ever consider doing James Bond commentaries? I actually have. I've been wondering about this. With on the James Bond and Friends podcast, we've done watch-alongs, which is like the group of us. We all watch the film individually and we record it, and then it's released as podcasts. So if you go over to James Bond and Friends, I think most of them, the episodes have been released as watch-alongs. We recorded them all throughout this year. But that was an awful lot of fun. So I'm a part of those. If you want to head over to I guess it'll be on iTunes and all the other main podcaster things. Zachary Antol, hello, Zachary Antol, was watching Twine recently and was shocked by how ugly the cinematography is, considering the DP also did Aliens, Princess Bride, Thelma and Louise, etc. First of all, Zachary, thank you very much. Second of all, I completely agree with you, actually. I love The World Is Not Enough, but there is something about the way it looks. And this really became apparent to me when, oh God, 2019 we're talking about now, but when the BFI did their James Bond Day, and they showed Majesty's Secret Service, Moonraker, and World Is Not Enough. The World Is Not Enough suffered, like coming immediately after Majesty's and Moonraker. Say what you will about Moonraker, but it's a bloody good-looking film. And following on from those films, Majesty's as well is just, I mean, I don't even need to go without saying how beautiful that film is. But World Is Not Enough really suffered compared to those two visually, anyway. Yeah. Oh, James says, R.I.P. Tanya Roberts. Yeah, no, that was really sad news. And then the fact that it was in the news again because there was a mix-up, and it was very, yeah, it was a shame. Oh, Ben Cole, James Bond and Friends watch-alongs keep me sane in lockdown, even though the film runs faster than the commentary. Oh, because there might be the PAL speed-up, I'm guessing. Maybe. I don't really know. Oh, hiya, Calvin. I joined early for once. Axos, hello. Matthew Sutton, have you thought about starting your own podcast? I don't know if I really need to be honest. I feel like I kind of get all my thoughts out here, and I hope that people. I guess it might be difficult to watch the videos on the go or something, but I like to think that maybe people can have them on in the background while you're cooking or you're cleaning the house or something. So yeah, I kind of just use this as my kind of to channel all of my thoughts in a visual way. Sam Lawrence, who would you most have liked to do a Bond song, old or present? For me, I would have loved Queen. Yes, Sam. Yes, Queen would have been absolutely amazing. For right now, I would love Lady Gaga to do one, and I don't know if I think she's a little bit too. I don't know. I know they tend to gone a bit younger recently with, I mean, well, Billie Eilish obviously young, but even with Sam Smith and Adele, they'd both made a big hit. They were a big name already, but they still had room to grow. I don't know if Lady Gaga's profile has much more room to grow, and that's the kind of artist that they seem to be interested in. So I don't know if they'd go for her. Maybe if they were to go back to kind of like a Madonna sort of thing and get someone really big and established, then maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Drew Sinclair, another super chat. Thank you very much. Do you like the Living Daylights song? I love it. Funnily enough, it's the one that I find myself singing it to myself the most. Like when I'm just like in silence going around cleaning or cooking or something. Hey, driver, where are we going? I do that quite a bit. I do need to redo my Bond song ranking video, actually, because I think the last time I did it, Writings on the Wall wasn't even out, and No Time to Die certainly wasn't out. So I think that'd be a good one to do. Jeff Edwardson. Thank you very much, Jeff Edwardson. Very kind of you. Thank you. Ali McMurray. Hello. Lady Gaga Chromatica opinions. Well, that's what everyone tuning into this live stream wants to know, isn't it? My thoughts on Lady Gaga's latest album. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Sour Candy is probably my favorite song on it. And I love the one she does with Elton John, Sign from Above. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, any opportunity to talk about Lady Gaga in the context of James Bond, I'll happily take. Oh, Cara Connolly, what are your thoughts on Mission Impossible? Well, I've reviewed the first 3 films in the series on the channel, so you can go. They're quite short videos. They're only about 10 to 15 minutes long, I think. But yeah, I do want to get on with my review of the. Oh no, I have to review the first 4 actually. But I still need to see the other ones. I've got them as well on Blu-ray because I'm going to get to a point where I'm talking about them on this channel because people love them as well. And I know that some people have said they're doing Bond better than Bond these days. So yeah, I did really like 4 and 3. 1 and 2 I was not a big fan of, but yeah. Oh, Jeff Edwardson again. Thank you very much, Jeff. Nicholas Hoult as 007. I'm coming around to that idea, actually. I think he'd be quite good. I think he is quite a good actor. I was talking about this with the James Bond and Friends group the other day, in terms of having a Bond that is close to your age, and the next Bond might actually be close to my age. I'm 31. And the next Bond might actually be in their early 30s, which is going to be a bit of a weird thing. Adrian Quirtz, love from Bavaria. Oh, cheers, Adrian. Thank you very much for that. It's very kind. Zachary Antle again. Thanks, Zachary. I'm a photography nerd and I'm curious, is there a look you'd like to see in a Bond film? Like, imagine Bond on 16mm in the style of Ingmar Bergman. Well, I think that's a really interesting question because I think the look of Bond has been very consistent since like maybe the 70s. I think there is a difference in the film texture and I can't quite articulate, I don't know the terminology necessarily, but something about like Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker looks really glossy and cool and very filmic, whereas the likes of For Your Eyes Only and Octopussy don't for some reason. I don't know if that is just purely a film stock thing or whether it's Blu-ray transfer. It could be anything like that. 16mm Bond would be really interesting. It's weird because the films have looked so similar for so long that they kind of, even though they obviously have different cinematographers in, and people like Roger Deakins make their own big stamp on the series in their own way. But 16mm Bond would be pretty cool, down and gritty. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original is one of my favorite films for just that feeling of, and again, I don't know if it's just the Blu-ray transfer that I have, but there's something about it that's just so gritty and grainy, and I love it. I love how that film looks. Cnog, do you like Doctor Who? I watched all of Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant's years, and then a little bit of Matt Smith, and then I kind of fell out. In fact, I kind of fell out on the second Matt Smith episode, or was it the first? Something like that. So I'm not a massive fan. It was on TV and I watched it when I was a teenager, but I've never felt the need to really go back. Suede. Oh, thank you very much. Thoughts on For Your Eyes Only Gun Barrel better than License to Kills? Oh, that's a tricky one. Well, I'm a big fan of the For Your Eyes Only Gun Barrel for the music particularly, because that disco beat that I love it so much. So I would have to say For Your Eyes Only over License to Kill there. And Jeff Person, thank you very much as well. It's very kind. What do you think about Timothy Dalton as Bond? I like him a lot, but people seem to disagree with me. What do you think? Well, Jeff, you might want to... Oh, Jet Person, sorry. God, it's a running thing that I tend to just mispronounce or misread names on these live streams, so I'm happy that I'm not letting the side down at all. Timothy Dalton's really had to grow on me. I think he's phenomenal in License to Kill. In Living Daylights, I'm not actually that keen on him in that film, because I think that they didn't know quite what to do with him, and they were still kind of defining, like, well, do we need to still do the Roger thing, or can we just let him do his own thing? And by License to Kill, they obviously had the faith to just kind of go ahead and obviously a big part of this as well is the fact that he came into the Living Daylights quite late in the game. It was kind of like hi, we're filming a new Bond film on Monday. Can you come over on Sunday, please? It's Friday now. But yeah, so I love him in that, in License to Kill. I don't love him so much in the Living Daylights, but I'm looking forward to revisiting them in depth sometime soon, because I haven't for some time. And I know I feel like I'm in a minority there. I feel like Timothy Dalton's Bond's undergone something of a renaissance recently. Brandon Gregory, thank you very much. Thank you. How about Cillian Murphy as Craig's successor? I love Cillian Murphy. Funnily enough, though, I've not seen Peaky Blinders yet, but I've seen him in plenty of other stuff, and I think he's just a phenomenal actor. Red Eye by Wes Craven is one of my most underrated thrillers. I think it's fantastic. I might be the only one who thinks that, but that was what I first saw him in, and I think he was great. Samuel Crabtree, hello. Cheers. Thank you very much, sir. Your content is fantastic. Well, that's very nice. Thank you. If No Time to Die ends up streaming, will you do a live watch along and review? Now, that's an idea, actually, that I've not even dared to fathom myself yet. But probably, I think I would. If it was immediately accessible at home, I think that something like that, a review would certainly come much quicker than when it comes out at the cinema, for sure. James Campbell as well. Thank you. I love your little the Spectre thing in your emoji, James. I've got the same thing on my Spectre ring here. Do you think that No Time to Die gun barrel will be at the start or end of the film? That's a good question. I've no idea. I'm really hoping it's at the start, and I really want them to do it properly, because I don't think that the Spectre gun barrel was all that great. But yeah, we'll see, I suppose. JPC Artworks, thank you very much. That's very kind. Love your content, mate. Managed to play any of the recent Hitman games yet? Hitman 3 is great. Can't wait for IO Interactive's Bond game. Neither can I. Yeah. I've still not played Hitman. I know it's really bad. I've been playing the Star Wars Squadrons game recently as well. I think I'm a bit nervous about playing Hitman, even though it's like literally right there on my shelf. And I've just not played it yet. I think I'm nervous in case I don't like it. And I'm like, well, do I want these people to make a Bond game or not? But I will get around to it eventually. I'll probably end up doing a review video of it, maybe after No Time to Die comes out. Well, actually, that might be a year from now, so who knows? Sam Lawrence, thank you very much, Sam Lawrence. The Octopussy review will be out next Sunday. That's my plan, and then it'll be up for patrons hopefully Wednesday is what I'm hoping for. I've got tomorrow off work, and I'm just gonna do it. I spent most of today doing it as well, except for a brief couple of minutes where I went outside to take the rubbish out, because I barely leave the flat these days. But yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with it. Dare I say I'm actually pleased / proud of something. Zachary Antle again. Thank you very much, Zachary. I want Henry Golding as Bond. Oh, I've heard his name come up quite a bit, actually, and people have been, I don't know him that well. Every now and then a name comes up, and I just don't really, people are talking about someone from Bridgerton, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, Peter McCormick, what does your DVD Blu-ray collection look like? It sounds like it would take up an entire bookshelf. Also, what is your home viewing setup? It does indeed take up a whole bookshelf, I'm afraid. But I do have a surround sound thing, which I got a good few years ago now. I've not got a 4K TV. It's still just regular HD. But I would love to upgrade to a 4K setup at some point. Oh, Antimatter 1138. Hello. Thank you very much. Hey, Calvin, not exactly Bond relevant, but I'm 18. I was wondering what it is like in the real world. Is it scary with competing for jobs and paying bills? I want to be an animator when I'm older. Oh, God, I mean, I could talk for hours on that question alone, Antimatter. God, it's, well, the real world is, oof, this is profound. I'm having like an existential moment here. It is scary, yeah, but I guess there's no sugarcoating it. But it is, yeah. I mean, there's ups and downs, and half, like, I know it sounds like I'm just quoting James Bond for the sake of it, but half of everything is luck. Half of everything is kind of like, it's half how good you are at something, and half just kind of where you are and the people that you interact with and stuff. If you want to be an animator, then my main advice is to just make stuff. Just make a lot of stuff. I don't know if you're going to university if you're 18. I would recommend, if you are going to and you want to do animation, do something that is going to allow you to make a film and express yourself creatively in that way, because at the end of the day, if you come out of film school as I did, the degree that you hold is not going to matter all that much, but it is the film that you have which is going to get into the festivals and get noticed. So that would be my advice. As for bills, well, bills are terrifying. No sugarcoating that. I'm sorry. Right, sorry, I've gotten behind here on some of the super chats. People have been very kind. Tax Shooter, been enjoying your videos for years, so cheers. Well, cheers, Tax Shooter. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Red D, hello, Red D. Get the Senna Chalk Ice. BTW. Did you watch It's a Sin on Channel 4? If so, what did you think? I absolutely loved It's a Sin. It's Russell T Davies' new drama. For anyone who hasn't heard of it, it's I've only seen 3 episodes, so no spoilers because they're all on the on-demand service at the moment. But I absolutely loved it. I thought it was terrific. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of it's set during the AIDS crisis in London in like the 80s, which I didn't know much about. I didn't have much context for that. So I thought it was like really interesting from that perspective. But yeah, I thought it was terrific. Thanks, Red D, for bringing that up. I was wondering if anyone was going to. Dean Wooldridge did as well. Yes. Red Alert. If you had to drive the Moonraker gondola float around any city square, which city would it be? Trafalgar Square. Definitely. I have to, stick on home turf. Oh, Thunderstorm89 Gamer, thank you very much. What's your thought on You Only Live Twice book? I'm reading it. Well, I hope you're really enjoying it, because I loved it, and I think it's the most underrated Fleming book that I read anyway. I thought it was quite phenomenal and really moody and atmospheric, and I felt something reading it. I thought it was quite lovely from that respect, beyond being, a fun adventure, as all of his Bond books are, or most of them are anyway. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I did. Cheers. Harvey Brown, thank you. Big fan. Wondered what your dream job would be. God, that's tough. I got a question in a YouTube comment last week, which was sort of like asking about like, what's your end goal with doing this whole YouTube thing? Like, do you want to be an actor or a presenter or something like that? And I had a bit of an existential moment because I was like, I don't have any plans. I'm happy where I am now, to be perfectly honest. Work in animation, so that's nice. It was what I studied, which is a luxury that, not many people have. So I'm very happy from that respect. And I love doing this as my pastime. This is my main hobby, keeping this channel and making the videos for it. So I'm kind of happy just going as I am. But thank you very much, Harvey. Thanks for that. Noah Jennings. Hello, Noah Jennings. Oh no, I've lost you. There you are. How does it feel not having Bond in 4K in the UK? It sucks. I can't wait for that 4K box set to come out. But then I'll have to upgrade my TV, my player, and everything. And yeah. But cheers, Noah. Thank you very much for the question and the super chat. Thank you very much. Okay, sorry, I'm really behind on some of these questions. I'm sorry. Hi, Calvin. You are my favorite channel on YouTube. Happy greetings from Sweden. Well, that's nice. That's cheers. You're very, very kind. Thank you. Oh, that's very nice. I hope you haven't had too much snow there. Matthew Peris, hello. As Craig is leaving, would you change the actors who play MQ, Moneypenny, etc., or would you keep all of them, some of them, for the next Bond? Well, maybe this is a bit of an old-fashioned thing to say. I like the idea of... Maybe it's just because I'm just used to Desmond always being there. I kind of want Q to stay until they die, basically. No pressure, Ben. But if you could just hang around for the next 70 years, that'd be great. Ray Fiennes, I would be fine with having someone else, maybe. But that might just be a personal thing. And Naomi Harris, actually, I wouldn't mind staying around. I think she's really good. She's someone who I want to see more of in the Bond films. So yeah. Well, thank you for the super chat anyway, Matthew. Thank you very much. Sam Harrison, have you seen Modern Family? I watched about 7 seasons of it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I've gotten quite into a lot of American sitcoms recently, and just sitting and chilling and all that. They're really good for that. Sorry if everyone, I just knocked my microphone. I have sent a horrible sound throughout the speakers. Tyler Wood, hello Tyler Wood. I'm sure you love the physical stuff, but I'd suggest trying out Plex and digital copies of all your media. You can stream it all from a hard drive. I am a bit of an old-fashioned when it comes to those things, I must say. But yeah, I can understand, like, it is probably convenient to have it all just like on a hard drive or something, but I like the physical media. I like having stuff on shelves and the boxes and the art and all that kind of stuff. But it's yeah. Lorenzo's very kind. Your YouTube channel, amazing, bro. Great Bond channels. Thank you very much, Lorenzo. Cheers to that. Thank you. I hope you're well. Oh, Simply Realistic 123, thank you very much. Would you play GoldenEye Reloaded multiplayer again if you could? Not gonna lie, but it was better than COD for literally no toxicity. Well, I've not much of a kind of a frame of reference for COD, I'm afraid. I don't play that. But funnily enough, the multiplayer that I really got hooked on was Quantum of Solace for the PlayStation 3. I was like really... I don't want to sound big-headed, but I was actually really good at it, and I'm not normally good at these things. So that was, but that was like really. I think that just came out at a time I was at university a lot, so I was like playing most nights and stuff. So that was nice. But yeah, GoldenEye Reloaded, I would love to play I don't even know if the servers are up anymore or whatever. I just can't wait for that new Bond game to come out so we can actually play some Bond games. I really hope there's online multiplayer. I would love that, like to get like competitions going and stuff. It'd be so cool. Hopefully. Damien Fenton, hello Damien Fenton. Did any paragraph of Fleming's novels shock you? I was very surprised that Karim Bey kidnapped a naked girl and changed her to the table. Yeah, that bit was a bit like, what the hell am I reading? There was a bit in Doctor No where he talks about Honey Rider, and she lives with like snakes and rats and things, and they like walk around together and stuff. And that shocked me in the sense that I'm like, this is really stupid. This is not stupid, but it's not the gritty, realistic Fleming stuff that I, that I was braced for. Like literally just Honey Rider's this like Disney princess, like Snow White, wandering around with birds and things and talking to them. But yeah, otherwise there was a lot of stuff, and I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't read it, but some stuff in You Only Live Twice, particularly towards the ending, that really kind of stood out. But yeah. Ooh, Corbinian, what's the next video with David about? Well, funnily enough, we recorded a video, another one of our debate videos, during the week, and it's going to be on You Only Live Twice. I'm going to be the defender this time because I love that film, and David is going to be the challenger. So we'll, hopefully that will be out in a couple of weeks. I'm hoping anyway. Danny Del Mazzo, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Danny. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Cheers. This rum is going down far too easily, by the way. I can't believe it's I've only been here for half an hour. Matthias, thank you very much. Glad you're a fan of James Bond. I've been since I was little. My first Bond movie was Casino Royale. My favorite Bond is Sean Connery. Nice. As in Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig one. That's an interesting one to get started with. Yeah, no, that's really cool. It's nice how many of us are Bond fans because we have that childhood, like, I mean, it's something that I'm quite concerned about, actually, because I don't know if they're doing all that much these days to kind of, you know, bring in an audience from a young age. Like most of us, probably, if you're watching this and you watch any videos on my channel, you probably have fond memories of watching Bond films with parents and the like when you were kids or relatives or whatever. And yeah, and the fact that they don't seem very interested in kind of appealing to that group anymore. Because when I was growing up in the 90s, the idea of being Pierce Brosnan's James Bond was fantastic. Like, you know, he had all the cool gadgets that you just wanted to have in your hand and the cars and all this kind of stuff. He had everything. Whereas I'm not so sure about Daniel Craig if he has that same kind of appeal. And the films, just the gaps between them, they're just, yeah. So I'm wondering if they will do more with the next Bond to try and kind of bring in some of that. But we'll see, I suppose. Sam Harrison again. Who is your favorite Modern Family character? Ooh, that is a good question. Good God, I've forgotten them. The older guy and his younger wife, Jay, and God, it's only been like 2 months since I last watched an episode. I can't believe I've forgotten the names of the characters. Oh, Matt Picton. Thank you very much, Matt Picton. Evening. What happened to your Hitchcock movie reviews? Also, do you like Rebecca with Laurence Olivier? Well, first of all, on Rebecca, yes, absolutely love it. Rebecca's a phenomenal film. I love it so much. The Hitchcock reviews, I think I took them down just because I didn't feel like they represented really where the channel was at the moment. I think some earlier videos had that kind of effect on me. Where I was just like, I don't know if I want this on here anymore. But I'm actually hoping to do more of them, certainly for Hitchcock's spy films, because I'm a massive fan. So, Samuel Crabtree. Thank you very much, Samuel Crabtree. How do I go on Gold Patreon, Calvin? Also, do you think Safin's plan will involve an algae farm and plan to affect the world's oceans, as mi6.com said? Okay. I mean, I've seen in the trailers that there was a lot of like stuff in tubes and things. I have no idea really what that is all pertaining to, though. I only really consume sort of what the, you know, you see in trailers and promotional materials and that kind of thing. So I don't really know. I have no scoop as far as spoilers go, I'm afraid. But so yeah, so his whole plan is still quite an enigma to me. As for how you become a gold patron, well, you can head over to my Patreon page. As I say, in my videos, I keep a link below the video, like in the video description, so you'll be able to go to whatever the nearest video is, probably, and yeah, there should be a link there. So I don't know if I put a link in the description for this one. Ben Cole, I always wanted to be Q rather than Bond. I can sympathize with that as well, particularly since Ben Whishaw came along as sort of like, a young, tall, dark-haired man is doing this whole Q thing in his 30s. Vintage Soup. Hi, Calvin. Would you ever consider doing a review on the silent film Spies? It's something referred to as the granddad of the Bond franchise, and Fleming was said to be a fan. It's so interesting that you brought that up, Vintage Soup, because I bought the Blu-ray like last week. So it's on my shelf. I've not seen it because it's a 2.5 hour long silent film, which is something that I have to be in the right frame of mind to see, I'm afraid. But yeah, no, I really want to do a video on that. It's is it F.W. Murnau? No, it's not, is it? It's oh, if anyone knows the director of Spies or Spione, I think it was FW Murnau. I don't know. Oh, John Leggett, thank you very much, John. I've just finished the 2 Anthony Horowitz books again and thoroughly enjoyed them. Have you read them? I have not. I'm afraid I've got one here, which I do have a bit of an interesting story in. Actually, I've not read it yet because I'm still on John Gardner. I've been there for a while now, but this one is signed. This was given to me by a friend of mine. It's signed by Sterling Moss, who I believe did the foreword on it, or he consulted it on it or something like that, because it's to do with Formula One racing, isn't it? And maybe he didn't do a thing. Oh, anyway, maybe I've just got a book signed by Sterling Moss that he had nothing to do with. I don't know. But that's what it was sort of sold to me as. But no, I've heard really good things about Anthony Horowitz, and I was a big fan of the Alex Rider books when I was a kid, which are basically like his junior James Bond books. So I'm looking forward to getting to his at some point. Damien Fenton again. Thank you, Damien. Hey, Calvin, what is your gut instinct about Bond 26? Do you think Eon is doing any writing or story development for it during this delay period? I would like to think that they are. Like, even if it's just kind of waking up in the morning and thinking about what they might be doing. And in a way, that makes me not too nervous about how long it's going to be until we get Bond 26. Because I think, like, if they've got time, like, you know, there was a time when the 4-year gap between Die Another Day and Casino Royale felt like a big deal, and now it just feels like that's going to be standard. But generally, if they have bigger gaps, then there's more time for them to kind of think about these things. And hopefully that ends up leading to a better film at the end of the day. So I like to think that they're probably thinking about it or just ruminating on it. But sorry, I'm just topping up my drink here. This Blackwell rum is really nice. David Lee was right when he advised me that it was quite bourbony. It is, and I do like a bourbon. Oh, Jack Scorer challenge. Cast yourself, David Zaritsky, Joe Darlington, Tom Sears, Dutch Bond fan, Mark O'Connell, AJ Chowdhury in these roles. Bond girl, villain henchman, ally M and Q. Well, I think I would want to be Q in that, so that's me as Q. David Zaritsky, I feel like David Zaritsky would have to be Bond. I feel like Dutch Bond fan could probably, I think henchman. I think Joe Darlington would make a good villain, AJ Chowdhury a great ally, and then that leaves Mark O'Connell as the Bond girl. I don't know if Mark's watching this, but I hope he doesn't mind me casting him as the Bond girl. That was a really good question, Jack. Thank you for that. That was fun. Emmanuel Z, hello. Will you do a full ranking of the Bond themes? And also, why haven't you done a Bond girls ranking? Well, the really annoying thing about these rankings is that they date. So some of the older ones, for instance, were before even Spectre came out. So, you know, and then I get comments from people being like, what, you know, why isn't Sam Smith's writings on the wall in here? Have you looked at when the video was published? It was published 2 years before the film even came out. But so with the Bond Girls one, I've been waiting until No Time to Die comes out, because depending on how Madeline Swan is handled in that film could really affect that ranking. So that's why that's not there. That's going to have to be when that comes out, I think, just to have a full picture, because based on now, she'd be right at the bottom, probably, but maybe something will happen in No Time to Die and she ends up being a revelation. Matt Picton, thank you very much, Matt Picton. Cheers. I'm going to have my the first sip of my topped up drink. Who is your favorite movie character apart from Bond? Mine is George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life. I love It's a Wonderful Life. I watched it again over Christmas. It's generally an every year sort of thing. And just James Stewart's my favorite actor of like all time. I think he's just such he's just a joy to watch, and so affable and charming and sweet and nice and funny and relatable. It's just, he's everything that is good about an actor and a performance. So yeah, George Bailey's up there for me. But my favorite movie character apart from Bond, Norman Bates, if that's not too controversial a thing to say. Probably, in fact, above Bond, probably in my ranking of movie characters would Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates. That is, God, not not what's his name, Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates, but Anthony Perkins is terrific. Psycho 1 and Psycho 2, particularly Psycho 2, I really love him in. I think Psycho 2 is a really underrated film. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan of like older sort of horror thriller sort of things, then I'd really recommend it. Also, have you seen Queen's Gambit? Yes, and it was the best thing I saw, the best series I saw last year. Quite possibly the best new thing that I saw, including films. I thought Queen's Gambit was terrific, really, really good. Funnily enough, I bought a chess set at the start of lockdown in about March last year. I bought a chess set because my partner didn't know how to play chess at the time, and I thought, well, I'm going to teach him how to play it. And so ever since March, taught him how to play, and we've been playing every day if we have a meal together at the table. Unless we're at desks working or whatever, we will play chess. So it was really nice to watch Queen's Gambit from that perspective, because I was kind of like, oh, that's a really good move, actually. I'm going to try that. So it was, but Queen's Gambit, I absolutely loved. If you've got Netflix and you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Johan says, Freddie Highmore was excellent in Bates Motel. He was. Bates Motel was a really good series based on Psycho, obviously. Sam Harrison again. Do you like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I haven't actually seen that much of it, I think a lot of it's on the BBC iPlayer at the moment, isn't it? Rory Mears, have you seen the TV series, miniseries Chernobyl? Yes, with Jared Harris in it, and it's phenomenal. It's really, really terrific. Another great series. Did that come out last year or was it the year before? God, whenever it was, I remember absolutely loving that as well. That was another sort of highlight. Have you watched Thunderbirds from Joseph Galvin? Galvin? That's a good surname. Shame it's not my surname, Calvin Galvin. Actually, maybe it's not a shame that it's not my surname. But yes, I was a big fan of Thunderbirds when I was a kid. I had the Tracy Island model. It was made in, I guess, the 80s or 90s or something. And I really liked it, the puppets and everything. It's kind of silly now to look back at it, but I enjoyed it when I was a kid. Okay, Joshua Parham. Do you think Purvis and Wade should stay on the series going forward? That's a good question. I know that they get an awful lot of stick from a section of the fandom. I think they're actually a really good foundational base for a Bond movie plot, because they know Fleming so well, and they know an awful lot about, it's not a coincidence that torture scene in Spectre was very reminiscent of the torture scene in Colonel's Son, which was a book that came after Fleming's, because they know their stuff. And I like them from that perspective, because they know Bond so well that I think they can construct really great Bond plots. So I like to have them as the base. And then another writer, be it Paul Haggis or Hadgis, never really know how to pronounce his name. I'm sure he's not watching this, so it's probably not going to matter. But I like it when John Logan, when other writers come in and kind of finesse the dialogue, finesse the character, that kind of stuff. So I would love to see them continue on, in all honesty. Whether or not they will, they always keep saying that, oh no, this is our last one, this is our last one. It's been your last one for about 10 years now. Zachary Antle again. Thank you very much, Zachary Antle. I saw David Bateson, voice of 47 from Hitman, say he has IO's attention for the Bond game. Imagine him as the villain. Well, that'd be interesting. I'm really curious to know what they're going to do with that game in regards to the story. If they are going to bring in sort of original villains and do the whole... I really hope they do. I really hope it's an original Bond story and not necessarily just like a bring back Dr. No and bring back Goldfinger and all that kind of stuff, because that's been done, and I'm kind of looking forward to there being something else. Also, another Antimatter 1138, again, thank you very much, with the best question. This is it, guys. The rat from Diamonds Are Forever or the rat from Spectre? I think I'm going to have to go with the rat from Diamonds Are Forever there. I don't know if anyone else has a strong opinion on that, but yeah, the rat from Diamonds Are Forever. Also for authenticity, because the rat inspector's CG, which I can't believe that they CG'd a rat instead of just like getting, or a mouse rather, or whatever it is. Chinchilla, hamster. I've got a hamster, they're lovely. Jim Bob, thank you very much. Will we finally see Nolan's Bond in the next outing? Would he be allowed the creative freedom he'd likely require? He co-writes with his brother a lot. That's really interesting. Like, Nolan has been a shadow over Bond, I feel, since, like, well, for about 10 years now. There's been so much about oh, Nolan would do a great Bond and all this kind of stuff. And I saw Tenet, and I didn't understand Tenet. I spent most of the time I was sat watching Tenet, and I was like, the people are like talking, and it's all like mumbly, like quantum physics. We go backwards in time, and it's like I don't understand anything, and they're talking about these incredibly complex scientific things, and I'm just sat there thinking, like, Christopher Nolan seems like a smart man, so I'm sure that this makes sense in some way, even though I'm too stupid to understand it. I saw bloody Interstellar with my flatmate at the time, who I lived with years ago, who studied physics at Cambridge. And I remember coming out of that film with him, and I was just like, what the hell was all that about? And he was like, well, you see, Calvin, with the black hole and the thingy and the blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I have no idea. Oh, on the bus ride home, it was just me being like, I have no idea what I just saw. So hopefully Christopher Nolan wouldn't do that to Bond. Hopefully there would still be some sense in there. I think he'd probably do some really cool things with the concepts. Conceiving scenes and all that kind of stuff. I do find Nolan to be ever so slightly fun deficient. Fun deficient's the wrong word, because I have a great time with his films. I think Inception is his best. Like, I love Inception so much, but I think he needs that little bit of flavor of something else. He's a little bit too Stanley Kubrick in that coldness, and I think and in a way, Spectre had a lot of that same coldness as well, which I think is one of the reasons why I didn't much care for that one. But I like Bond with a little bit more warmth or a peppering of something. But oh, Tom Patton, do you like David Lynch? I probably haven't seen enough David Lynch to answer that with any definitive. But from what I've seen, I absolutely love David Lynch. Twin Peaks, the original series, loved it. Absolutely terrific. Oh, Johan, yeah, I completely get what you're saying about Nolan. Oh, yeah, I'm glad. It's hard because I know that Nolan has such a fan base and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know. I just never quite connect. Oh, Jeff Edwardson, thank you very much, Jeff. Think Rami Malek is Dr. No. I do not, but I think his character Safin is going to be based on Fleming's Dr. No. But he's going to have a different name. I think that's how they're going to play this. I've seen some things that makes me think like, oh yes, like in the Fleming book. So I think he's Fleming's Dr. No, but not in name, if that makes sense. Oh, Simon Drake, yeah, Nolan peaked with Inception. I kind of agree with that. I think sometimes directors can get to a certain place in their career where all of a sudden they're untethered and they can kind of make what they want and do what they want. And in a way, that's a shame, because you do, in some cases, need someone to kind of rein in your worst ambitions. But he can just do what the hell he wants now. I'm sure no one's going to tell Christopher Nolan how to make a film. Oh, Matt Picton again. Hi, Matt. John Cleese doing the Ministry of Silly Walks during Dine in the Days Q scene probably wouldn't have looked so out of place for that film. It wouldn't have. I do kind of miss John Cleese as Q. I wish he'd have done more. I wouldn't have minded if he'd have been introduced as Q's assistant earlier, and then, which I believe was the plan. I believe Desmond Llewellyn was like quite keen on getting someone in to do some of the heavy lifting with the tech talk, which he couldn't quite memorize. But yeah, I'm a big John Cleese fan. I think he's really funny. He's great. Movie Guy. Hello, Movie Guy. Hey, Calvin, will you do a video on your wish list for the new Bond game? Maybe IO Interactive will see it. I wouldn't mind. That's not a bad shout, actually. Maybe I should. I definitely have a list of things that I want to see in it. Probably just going to be me talking about. I think I'm going to do a video sometime soon on, because it's been 20 years since Agent Under Fire was released, and I want to do a video. Well, I basically just want an excuse to revisit the game, so I'm planning on doing a video on that. Mr. Bond News, what do you think of GoldenEye 64? Oh, Goldfinger 64. Are you going to play it? I've tried to sort of do all of the technical stuff in order to play that game, but I just don't have the technical capacity. I am contemplating putting it out there like a message, just saying like, someone please help me. Someone please help me install this game, because it looks really cool. And I've seen that there's a Spy Who Loved Me as well. done in the sort of GoldenEye N64 style, which I'd quite like to play. So yeah, hopefully someday I'll get to it, but we'll see. Ooh, Corbinian again. Do you watch WandaVision? I've watched 2 episodes so far, and I'm quite enjoying it. And I'm not that massive a Marvel fan, so it's probably saying something that I'm like watching it and like thinking like, oh yeah, actually, this is all right. But maybe I'm just too big a fan of kind of like, I'm not a big fan of 50s sitcoms, but I like it when contemporary shows do 50s sitcoms, if that makes any sense. And I get that. God. Ooh, Red D. Another very important question here. Cats or dogs? Dogs. I'm very much a dog person. I don't dislike cats. But I've just never liked one, I guess. So what this live stream's come down to, debating the benefits of cats versus dogs. Have you seen Sherlock on Netflix from Cara Connolly? Hello, Cara Connolly. Is that the Benedict Cumberbatch one? Because I definitely watched a series of that and I enjoyed it. It's one of those things that I'm like, I'm sure I'll enjoy it when I eventually get around to seeing it, but I just yeah, haven't yet. Oh, George, what Bond Funko Pops do you have? I have a single one. I said this is at the start of the live stream that this is my only Funko Pop. I'm not actually a massive fan of them, but they released Bond in Moonraker garb with the Moonraker laser, and I mean, how could I not? It's like if they'd have made a Sheriff Pepper one, maybe that would have been the only other thing to tempt me. But yeah. There we go. Bond in Moonraker garb was enough to get me on the Funko bandwagon. John Hull, what do you think of a Roger Moore video game like From Russia with Love? Well, I would love that. I think particularly Spy Who Loved Me would have made a terrific video game. And from what I understand, something along those lines was in development at some point. And I think it's such a shame that we never got Roger to come back to do the game like Sean Connery did with From Russia with Love and record the new voiceover and all that kind of stuff. Because that would have just been so cool. I guess there's still time to get Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan back, but what I would really like them to do is, and what I would have liked them to have done with Sean Connery, instead of making a video game of From Russia with Love, they should have just made a new original story starring Sean Connery's James Bond, and they did in bits. I mean, I'm not spoiling anything by saying in the film From Russia with Love, Sean Connery does not put on a jetpack and fly around Big Ben to save Natasha Bedingfield from some bad guys. That is very much an invention of the game, and I think that's great. I think the best parts of that game are the bits that deviate from the film and do their own thing, and they kind of have to because the film doesn't have video game action in it to sustain the thing. So I would have rather them done that. And in fact, the last level of that game is like Sean Connery goes to the massive like Ken Adams Spectre volcano base to like shoot bad guys, and Red Grant's there in a mechanical spider thing, and it's just like, God, why didn't you just make an original story where all this would make sense? Because it doesn't make sense in this particular version of the story. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Kaiju Comics. Hello, you should review Bourne movies. Well, I have put them up because my non-Bond reviews are voted for by Patreon supporters, and I've put Bourne in there a couple of times, but they maybe it's just a testament to the lack of popularity that they hold in this day, that they never really get the votes. But I will get to them eventually, I'm fairly sure. Mega Red Assassin, thank you very much. That's very kind. Mega Red Assassin, cheers to you, sir. Love your channel, Calvin, just as much as I love James Bond. Well, that's really kind. Thank you. It's the ideal YouTube channel to have, if I'm being honest. Well, that's absolutely lovely. Thank you very much, Mega Red Assassin. That's very kind. I'm not good at taking compliments, so it's yeah. Thank you very much, though. That's really nice. Thank you. I hope you're well. Cheers. Oh, Matthew Sutton, will you be doing any more of the retro video game reviews? Definitely, yes. I hope that people enjoyed the Atari one that I did a few weeks ago, because I know it was a very different kind of video game review to the other ones that I do, but it's tough when the games barely have a story and when they're not very fun. Is what I'll say about the Atari James Bond, because I was playing that and I had a good sort of go at it. but it was just like, yeah, no, this isn't very good. I have no desire to continue playing this. So yeah, but I would like to. I know that like James Bond Jr., James Bond the Duel, like some of those things I would like to play because I'm a completist. I'm a really annoying completist, and I want to read everything, play everything, see everything to do with James Bond, and hopefully with emulators and the like, I'll get there eventually. But we'll see. Joseph R. Hello. How would you feel if they do a Nightfire remake HD with Brosnan on the voice this time? I mean, I would. The list. I would do anything for that. Nightfire is probably my favorite Bond game, so yeah. I mean, having that in HD, even if I don't even need it in HD. I just need it to, like, if I could play it on my Nintendo Switch, like, I would just be so thrilled. But the annoying thing about Bond is that the licenses are so all over the place with the games, and it's infuriating because it's like, if these companies could get their acts together and agree on things, there's money to be made. Like, plenty of people would buy. Not even a GoldenEye N64 remaster, just release the exact same game on a modern console and it would make money. Like, I don't know, but it's all, these different companies. It's about how much money they can take and how much does go to Nintendo and Rare and Microsoft and Eon and all these different things, and it just ends up being such a it would be a nightmare for any lawyer to have to work through all that. So I think that's why we don't have these things. Hoop Studio, hello Hoop Studio. Have you heard fan-made No Time to Die theme by Creature Creature? Very good theme for a fan song. Really echoes You Know My Name in some ways. I have a feeling someone sent me that and I haven't listened to it yet. I have a feeling I got that in a message because I remember the name Creature Creature. I'll have to go have a look through my messages and see if I can find it. Matt Picton again. Thank you very much, Matt Picton. I really like Robert Pattinson as the new Batman, but would have liked him to have been the next Bond. Also, would like Timothée Chalamet as a Bond villain. Oh, he'd be a really good Bond villain. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I want them to do something a little bit different with the Bond villains, because I feel like, I know that they tried with Dominic Green to make someone a bit like creepy and not much of a physical presence. I don't know if Christoph Waltz is much of a physical presence. I don't know. I want a Bond villain who isn't kind of like a 40-plus bloke. So, I'm ready for a bit of variety in that. One of the reasons why I love Electra King so much is that she is a female Bond villain, and I know that they seem very reluctant to allow female villains in the Bond series, and I think that's a shame because I think there's an awful lot you can do with that. But yeah, Robert Pattinson would have been an interesting Bond. I think he's very underrated. I think he, obviously gets a bad rap from the whole Twilight thing, but he's a really good actor, actually. Red D. Thank you very much again, Red D. Oh, your top 3 consoles ever. Has to be GameCube, PS3, Nintendo DS. Right, okay, yep. That's my variety pick. Maybe Wii instead of... I'm a Nintendo guy, so maybe the Wii instead of the PS3. But I have a lot of fond memories from PS3, particularly from the 4 Bond games that were released on it. Chris Carlin. Thank you very much, Chris. Cheers to you. If cinemas are only partially open by October, like summer last year, will No Time to Die be released or postponed again? That's a good question. I mean, another postponement would be so much of a, like, I don't know if they... No, of course they would. I mean, there's every chance that we might be seeing No Time to Die as a 60th anniversary Bond film, which is... I mean, whatever happens. I have a feeling that by then, enough people around the world are going to have had the vaccine, and hopefully after things kind of go down from where they are now, maybe they would just think, like, you know what, we do just need to actually get it out. It's accruing too much debt, so we just need to get it out there. So I think I'm more certain about October than I was about last November or this April. Prepare to clip this and call me up on it in a few months' time when we're all like, it's never coming out in October. Babbington, thank you very much. Cheers to Gus Babbington, thank you very much. If you were a Bond villain henchman, what would your signature look be? Oddjob's hat, Jaws' teeth, Calvin's. Oof, that's a good question. I'm going to be slightly derivative here, but a feature that I really like is in the video game GoldenEye Rogue Agent. The main character actually has a golden eye, which has like, you know, you have powers through that. I would kind of love that, like to actually have like some like cyborg kind of eye sort of thing. That would be my my choice. I hope that's not too much of a cop out because I am referencing another kind of Bond media, but yeah, it'd be that. Okay. Tom Patton, yeah, I think by October we'll be vaccinated. Well, certainly here in the UK anyway, I would hope. And I know that that doesn't necessarily mean that things will be back to normal as such because, well, you know, you can go to the news for this. Sorry, I won't bring it down with talking about COVID-related stuff. We all have enough of that everywhere else. Johan. Thank you very much, Johan. Have you ever read the Bourne trilogy by Robert Ludlum? The first two are incredibly intriguing spy thrillers, highly recommended. I haven't actually. I'm still kind of reading through a lot of the Bond extended stuff, so it might be a while before I get to the Bourne stuff. But yeah, I'd like to someday. I've heard really good things about them, actually, like really good things. Ben Call, I want to see a literal GoldenEye game for Moonraker. All you do is rake the moon. That's it. That's the game. Get Sideshow Bob in there. Step on some rakes. Jack Scorer, what film are you anticipating the most? Well, there's a little Bond film coming out. No, I mean, it should probably go without saying that it's No Time to Die. In terms of other films, Halloween Kills, the next Halloween film, I'm a massive fan of the Halloween series, and I really liked the reboot, remake, whatever it was, re-sequel, the 2018 one. So I'm really looking forward to see them continue that, and it sucks to think that we would have already seen that. Like, they were supposed to come out last October, it's going to come out next October, and that's the kind of film that I can see, even if cinemas aren't open, they may just push it to streaming, but we'll see. Oh, Stephen, thank you very much, Stephen Karanteng. Thank you very much. Cheers, Stephen. Sorry. I almost cheersed and then didn't have a drink. That'd have been bad luck. So been watching License to Kill, Tomorrow Never Dies. There wasn't enough Thunderball for the past weekends. Diamonds Are Forever tonight. Skyfall and Spectre next weekend. You've been watching any Bond movies during lockdown? It's getting me through. Funnily enough, it's been a while since I've watched. I think it was... it was after Sean Connery passed, actually, that I watched a couple of Bonds. And since then, I don't think I actually have, for just like pure relaxation, like, because I've often sort of like, you know, watching bits here and there and stuff, and video stuff like Octopussy. That review video is going to be coming out next Sunday. Hopefully everything going to plan is what it should be coming out. And so, yes, I watched that in great detail, but it's a different kind of thing because it's like stopping and starting and typing and like doing things. And but yeah, so I guess Dr. No from Russia with Love, one of those was probably the last one that I just kind of watched for pleasure, I suppose. But I have been having I'm really hankering to have a Craig marathon. But yeah, maybe I'll just have it because it's going to be that long before the next one comes out, because I keep holding on to like I'm going to do all four of them in like really quick succession. But yeah, I don't know. I've got annual leave to book off from work, so maybe I'll just book a day off to sit and watch all four Craig films in one go. Not a bad shout, actually. Sounds like a perfectly good way of using my annual leave. Atomic Dagger just subbed. Thank you very much, Atomic Dagger. That means an awful lot. Thank you. Cheers to that. I'll drink to that. Right. Oh, Sam Kaufman. Hello, Sam. As a Hitch fanatic and a Bond nut, I can't help but think Anthony Perkins would have been a superb Bond baddie. I quite agree. I'd have just loved to have seen him in a Bond film in any capacity. High Voltage, thank you very much, High Voltage. Had a chance to play Hitman. No. Shamefully, I know it's really bad that I haven't played it yet, but it's literally like out on the shelf. I'm playing Star Wars Squadrons at the moment, because I did rewatch the Star Wars films, not including the prequels, recently. So I was in a bit of a Star Wars mood. So yeah, I'm playing Squadrons at the moment, but we'll get to Hitman eventually. I guess probably after I've done Squadrons. This is the thing, I can only ever play one game at a time, and I play it to completion and then I start the next. I can never do multiple ones at the same time. Unless it's Pokemon, I always have Pokemon on the go. Because I'm a 10-year-old, apparently. The Gleaner, thank you very much, the Gleaner. Sorry, I'm gagging on the Cleaner then. Cheers, the Gleaner, thank you very much. Thank you, Calvin, for what you do for us Bond fans. You're making our lives richer during this difficult time. That's so nice. Thank you very much. Is there any possibility you will be on one of the upcoming Bond book club reviews? Well, David Zaritsky knows I'm always here if he needs anyone. I was on the Moonraker one, which was a few ago, but yeah, I think he's getting lots of different people in and different voices on each one. So yeah, I did send him like a little list of like, these are the ones that I really love. So if he needs me for any of them, then and I think I also put in some ones that I didn't love so much in case he needed, a contradictory opinion perhaps for some of the things. But yeah, hopefully someday again soon. Jim Bob, cheers, Jim Bob. From everything we've seen, do you have a gauge on the quality of No Time to Die? Will it be Casino Skyfall quality, in your opinion? Best guess. It's so, like, I really want it to be, like, deep down in my very soul, for the fact that we're having to wait this long for it. It's like, because I remember that was being said, like, when the first postponement happened and we were all having to wait for what seemed like just 6 months, 7 months, whatever it was then. Like, just people are saying, like, what if it's not good? We've had this wait. I think I look at it and I think this looks great. I think Cary Fukunaga is a really fantastic director, and I think he's got a great sensibility. I'm hoping it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be humor. It's going to be an interesting story. I'm really, really hopeful for it. I think it is going to be, because I think it's going to come out, and I think people are going to say it's kind of mid-tier Craig, depending on where you sit. And then over time, I think it's going to go up a bit, maybe, because with this much anticipation as well, I think in a way it's going to be impossible not to be disappointed after waiting, who knows, by the time it comes out, but over 2 years of postponed release dates and stuff, so we'll see. High Voltage again. Thank you very much, High Voltage. Since you're a fan of Hitchcock, have you seen Rope? Have I seen Rope? I saw it, well, again, for about like the 6th time or something, a couple of weeks ago, maybe even last week. And I wrote a review of it on my Letterboxd, which you can find and follow me on if you are also on Letterboxd, which is an app for like reviewing films and stuff. I do really like Rope. I think it's a really great little thriller. Not my favorite Hitchcock. I think some of the technical limitations that Hitchcock imposed on himself with the whole, trying to make it look like things are happening in a single take, I don't think it quite works, because there are a couple of cuts in there. It happens like at least twice, maybe even 3 times, that there is just like a hard cut. And it's like, well, this is beside the whole point of the experiment, surely, but whatever. But it is really, I like it very much. Maximus Maxon, best Universal Monsters film. Well, this is actually quite difficult, because I love Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and The Invisible Man. I actually went through all of them, all of the classics, during the summer. And up until that marathon, I'd always been describing myself as being a fan of the classic Universal monsters. Coming out of that marathon, I've actually realized I'm just a James Whale fan, like James Whale, the director of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, The Old Dark House, the list goes on. I love his stuff and his influence on that series. I'm less a fan of the Draculas and whatnot, but if James Whale is on it, then I'm totally sold, or even influencing it from beyond the director's chair. Dan R. Thank you, Dan R. I will drink to you, Dan R. If Sting played Zorin in A View to a Kill, which character in another Bond would you have liked Walken to play? For me, it would have been Walken as Brad Whitaker in The Living Daylights. That's perfect. that is actually a perfect recasting, because I think, as much as I like Joe Don Baker as Jack Wade, God, the name slipped me then. Too much Blackwell rum. I like him in GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies. In The Living Daylights, I'm not actually a big fan of him. And I think you needed someone with a bit more color and a bit more character in that part. And I think Christopher Walken in that part would have actually been perfect. I can't best that. I think you've done a really good job with that, Dan R. Yeah, well done. Oh, but Joe Hahn, Walken as Elliot Carver would have been interesting. That would have been really good. Yeah. No, actually, Elliot Carver, that would have been interesting. Stop the presses. That was a terrible Christopher Walken impression. I don't know where that came from. That came from somewhere down in my soul. Lucas, could Bond ever be a woman? What's your take on that? A woman? Kind regards from Austria. Love your videos. Well, thank you very much, Lucas. Thank you very much. Very kind of you to tune in. Thank you. The whole could Bond be a woman thing is quite interesting. I don't know if it... Well, you probably have to name the character something else. I don't know if it would... It would take away a lot of an aspect of the character, which is the whole misogyny, and like that just is a part of Bond. It's there in the books. It's there in the classic film. It's such an integral part of the character that I don't know if it would work. Like I just don't know if the character would work. And I'm sure that there are people who think it would work. But I think if you're that intent on having a female James Bond, then make spin off Charlize Theron's Atomic Blonde character or whatever. I don't know really. It would change an awful lot. It might be a great film. I would definitely see it. I'd probably love it. But I don't know if it needs to be. If it needs to happen as such. Oh, Joe, can you talk about the Folio Society on the shelf behind you? I have them too. Oh, that's lovely. No, these are my favorite versions of the Fleming. This is the most recent one on Her Majesty's Secret Service. They're really nicely illustrated, hardback. They come in these nice slip cases. They're fantastic. I read the Moonraker when I was in David Zuski's book club, and it's just like you feel like you need to wear gloves and like move the pages with an eyebrow tweezer. They're so nice. Oh, Stephen Carant, thank you very much again, Stephen. Thank you. I shall drink to you, Stephen. Do you ever find, as a fan, having to defend yourself from other people about Bond being sexist as he does heroic stuff, which I admire more? I think that is a really good question, actually, and it is something that comes up, and I think it can be answered, but the thing is, it requires nuance to answer, and I think nuance is something that is missing from an awful lot of opinions and debates these days. The idea that you can have an heroic character who maybe does not hold views or actions that acceptable or correct or whatever, basically a flawed character, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that it does require a certain level of nuance to still admire someone as a hero, even though you might not like other aspects of the character or whatever. And for a film series that's as old as Bond, it's like there are historical there are things that happen that have to be contextualized in the era in which they were made, even though they might be problematic and uncomfortable to watch in this day and age. And that's not to excuse it. It's just to ignore that is to ignore the idea that those issues were ever in existence to begin with. And I think that it requires nuance is basically what I'm coming down to, I suppose. And I think from that aspect, you can admire Bond much more for the heroic stuff and whatever. I think he's still somewhat... I remember being a kid and wanting to be Pierce Brosnan and Roger Moore's James Bond and all that kind of stuff. And I think, no hero is perfect. And if they are perfect, then they're probably not a very good hero. Matt Picton again. Hello, Matt Picton. Hot take. We've got a hot take here. Mayday is my favorite Bond hench person. I think that is a very good hot take. Have you seen Diana Rigg in The Great Muppet Caper? That question took a turn I didn't see coming. I love Mayday too, by the way. I think she's fantastic. And I haven't seen The Great Muppet Caper, but I've heard Diana Rigg is really good in it, actually. Is it on Disney Plus? because I've got Disney Plus, so I might, if it's on there, I may well see it. I watched Muppets Christmas Carol just before Christmas, and that was really nice to watch again. But Kenneth Wilburn, when are you releasing Octopussy? Octopussy Review is a week today, and then a little bit earlier for patrons. So hopefully Wednesday. I've got tomorrow off work because I need to use my days off because I haven't had any days off in a while, and I lose them if I don't use them. But I've got nowhere to go, so I'm going to be working on video stuff instead. And the World's Not Enough N64 review will be quite a way off. I've not even recorded the video game footage for that, so that'll be some time. I think I've no idea when, in all honesty. I need to, in fact, I need to acquire a Nintendo 64 expansion pack or something. Or memory card. Maybe it's a memory card. I need something to actually play the game and save and do things, so I need to look into getting that as well. Any more deleted scene videos? No, sadly not. I'm all out of deleted scenes. I was just looking at the ones that are like released on the DVDs and the Blu-rays and stuff, and I'm at the end of that. So there's no more. So unless they release some more, which they may well do, but no, I'm afraid no more for the time being. And are you going to make one on the third Dalton film? Well, I did read Mark Edlitz's fantastic book, which I think is by my bed, so I don't know if I've got it to hand here. No, it doesn't look like I do. Oh, no way, of course I do. It's bloody there. It's like right there on my shelf. Mark Edlitz's book on the potential third and fourth Timothy Dalton Bond films. Really good read. Maybe at some point. I'd like to think of a different way to do it because I don't just want to be reading out pages of Mark's work. He did such a bloody good job. But yeah, hopefully sometime in the future. And Stephen again. Stephen, you keep giving me a reason to drink, Stephen. Thank you. Drinking Foster's. Well done. Also, some people have made some N64 versions of Goldfinger and Spyro Loved Me. Check it out. Yes, I do need to learn the technical capacity, whatever it is that I need to do to actually play those, because I'm a terrible novice when it comes to these things. So yeah, there's a really good YouTube channel. I'm probably going to mispronounce his name. Grazloo 00, and he does amazing GoldenEye gameplay, Goldfinger N64 style. He does all those things. He's phenomenal. I used a clip from one of his gameplay footage in my GoldenEye N64 review and got permission for that. So thank you very much if you're watching this. I don't know if you are, but yeah. But yeah, head over to that channel because Grazulu 00, I think that's it. Yeah, I hope I'm probably terribly mispronouncing it, but that's in character for me. AJ Garrett, thank you very much, AJ Garrett. Ever see the 80s James Bond role-playing games? I've heard of them. I've never actually gone into one. I don't really know that much about role-playing games, so or rather 80s role-playing games. So I don't really know all that much about them, but I've heard some rumblings. Is that one of the Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing where it's you set up a board and do it that way? It'd be fun. We're having such a drought of Bond content that I'm kind of willing to consume anything and wanting to consume anything. So, Cool Boys Backyard. Thank you very much, Cool Boys Backyard. Can you imagine Roger Moore in License to Kill? That's the Bond mashup I think I want the most now. That'd be fantastic. Could you imagine Roger Moore reacting to Milton Crest's head exploding in the compression tank? That would be fantastic. Oh, Cool Boys Backyard. That's a fantastic suggestion, yes. Brilliant. Oh, High Voltage again. Thank you, High Voltage. Do you ever feel Bond is still afraid of its wackier side? We still don't get many cool gadgets. No, I completely agree. I'm all for bringing back that. And I'm sure that a big part of this for me is nostalgia, growing up with Pierce Brosnan's Bond and all that kind of stuff. But I want that cool phone that I wanted to have in the 90s, and even in the games with the grappling hook and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I hope we get an embracing of that again in the next era after Craig. But we'll see. Simon Drake, would you do a debate video about Skyfall with a non-fan? I totally would. Yeah. I love the debate the debate videos that me and David Zaritsky have been doing. I really love them because they're so all right. So I watched. I was like I said earlier on. I was going through a bit of a Star Wars phase, and a part of that was because I was watching all of The Mandalorian, and I finished season 2, and I was like, "This is amazing." I loved it, by the way. And I was like, I want to look at Star Wars fan, Twitter thing, like see what the discussion is, and I went on it, and it was like, good lord, it was like a war zone. I was like, whoa, I'm not getting involved in this. And it made me really appreciative of what the Bond fandom is and what the Bond community is, because I think the series itself is so diverse and so big that you kind of have to have an understanding of other people's tastes, and the fact that some people might like Diamonds Are Forever, some people might like License to Kill, but we are all a fan of this franchise, and that's a nice thing. Whereas some of the tweets that are in Star Wars, it was like, bloody hell, it's only films and TV shows. So I was like, well, no, I'm not getting involved in that. Whereas Bond Twitter, I find really nice and really welcoming, and we have great conversations. There's polls and things. It's really lovely. So that made me appreciative of Bond fans. I think we're just generally perhaps a more reasonable, understanding, pragmatic bunch. Oh, Charlie Nice. Hello, Charlie Nice. What is your favorite Star Wars movie? Well, my favorite is Return of the Jedi, which I don't know if that's controversial or not, but I always have a great time watching that. I love all the stuff with Jabba's palace. I love the whole Ewok battle, the Darth Vader Luke battle, the going with the Death Star, that whole 3-tier thing, I think works really well. So yeah, definitely Return of the Jedi. But I love the vast majority of them. Luke J. McGrath. Hello. If you did a discussion on Spectre, who would you choose to defend it? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I know many people who actually really like it. I know AJ Chowdhury does, but I would never debate with AJ Chowdhury because he's so eloquent and so well-spoken. AJ Chowdhury, who co-wrote Some Kind of Hero, which it remains one of the very best books on the history of the Bond films. It's a terrific book. But if you've ever seen AJ talk, he's so eloquent and so well spoken and so intelligent that I would never be able to hold up against him. Corbinian again, do you like the Kingsman films? I kind of do. Yeah, I have a lot of very conflicting opinions about the Kingsman films. I did a review of the first one on this channel, so you can go and find that video on my channel. But yeah, I enjoy elements of them. I don't enjoy elements of them. It's very difficult to sum up in a sentence. So hence, I made a 15-minute video about it. So hopefully you can find that on the channel with ease, I hope. Matthew Sutton. Hello, Matthew Sutton. Would you like to see David Arnold score another Bond film? I would absolutely love to see David Arnold score another Bond film. I would be willing to go to great lengths to make that happen. I think he's terrific, and I would absolutely love to see that, yes. Oh, Planet Tommy. Hello, Planet Tommy. Have you ever seen any of Pierce Brosnan's other popular films? Like Mamma Mia, for instance, because I've definitely seen that. Yeah, no, I've seen plenty of Pierce Brosnan films. Dante's Peak, November Man. Well, I don't know if IT's popular, but I saw IT. That was an experience. Zachary Ansel again. Thank you so much, Zachary Ansel. You are too kind. Far too kind, Zachary, but thank you very much anyway. Bond is absolutely the least toxic fandom I've been in. I wonder if that has been to do with how old it is. Also, is a Bond story its own genre? That's interesting. A Bond story being its own genre, I think it's become a thing. Like, I don't think it was, like, I've definitely seen spy films that predate Doctor No that have a kind of Bondian story. So I know that was, a larger-than-life spy adventure kind of thing. But I think since Bond, it's, like Tenet, for instance, was being described as Nolan's Bond film and very Bondian and all this kind of stuff. So I think it can be a story in its own genre. As for the question about the Bond fandom, that's certainly, I think that's my experience, considering how old the series is, which you'd think you would get a lot more arguments out of that because you have fans of all ages. In reality, what I think it is, I think it's a thing to do with tone as well, because it's amazing to think that Moonraker, From Russia with Love, License to Kill, and Die Another Day exist within the same franchise. It's nuts. Like, how does that happen? But they do. But it does. And every single Bond film is someone's favorite. even Spectre and Time of the Day and Diamonds Are Forever, like everyone has a favorite, and you just have to come to the Bond series understanding that and appreciating that and expecting that everyone's going to have a different ranking. And I think that expectation going in that, yes, people are going to have different opinions, and that's fine. We can talk about it and be civil and all that kind of stuff. Whereas it's like Star Wars Twitter, when I dipped my toe in that, it was like, good Lord. It seemed to be that the Last Jedi fans wanted to kill the Mandalorian fans and vice versa, and it was, yeah, anyway. High Voltage again, thank you, High Voltage, hello. The Star Wars Clone Wars series does Anakin justice, and the discussion around The Last Jedi is still toxic. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way. And it really bothers me because, like, okay, I'm not a massive fan of The Last Jedi. I didn't care for it much when I saw it at the cinema. I can appreciate elements of it. I think it's the most beautiful Star Wars film. It looks stunning. And I think there's aspects of it that work really well. But on a whole, I always come away from it, like, really cold and kind of like, well, what was the point of that? And it says something that I feel like I'm doing something dirty by expressing that opinion. And like I say, because of the experience that I have seeing Star Wars fans on Twitter and stuff, it tends to be so toxic and like people like sniping and stuff. And it's like, oof, I don't want that. It's like, I want a place where I can go and say that I love a double taking pigeon and not receive hate mail and dog turds through the letterbox as a result of that opinion. And that's what the Bond fandom brings. Cara Hughes, how much of that rum is left? Well, there's actually still quite a bit left in the bottle. In my glass, I've only had it with like one Coke can. I think, oh, good Lord, this time has flown by. I've only just realized it's been an hour and 25 minutes. So I think I might finish this and then have one more neat one in my neat glass to appreciate it properly. And then I might call it a night. I hope that's all right. Alexander Dion. Hello, Alexander. Worst non-Barry soundtrack. That's really interesting. Oh, I hate to dog on GoldenEye because I love GoldenEye so much, but there's elements of the Eric Serra soundtrack that are probably the worst. Like, beep, boom, bum, 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 bum. Like that is just so like yeah, no, it's very unpleasant. But at the same time, I love the pre-credit sequence music with the boom, 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 boom. It's fantastic in that respect. Oh, actually, no, this is easy. Spectre. Spectre's the worst non-Barry soundtrack. And that's saying something because I love Skyfall. And Spectre just repeated that. But no, I think Spectre has a really poor soundtrack. Matt Picton again. Hello, Matt Picton. Which actor or actress would you like to play a Bond villain? I would pitch Giancarlo Esposito to play a villain in any franchise. He's the guy from Breaking Bad and Mandalorian, isn't he? Because he is phenomenal. I would love him to play a Bond villain. He's absolutely fantastic. Quite possibly him, but then I'm also like, I would like a Charlize Theron, Angelina Jolie, kind of like a 40-plus woman to do it, because I think Elektra King is a fantastic character, and I wish that they'd do more with female Bond villains. So I would hope that will happen eventually. I don't know if it will, but yeah, I'd like that. Thank you very much, Matt Picton. And also thank you to Three-Legged Productions. Thank you very much. My local cinema is playing Dr. No to Dine of the Day over 3 months. Next up, on Her Majesty's Secret Service on Wednesday. You have a cinema open? Oh, I see. Oh, you're in Australia, I think. Ah, okay then. Oh, I envy you. You've got a cinema open. Craig movies in September leading up to No Time to Die. Excellent. Ah, yes, I'd love the opportunity to see some of the classics again on the big screen, which would be nice. Kenneth Wilburn, thank you very much, Kenneth Wilburn. I'm going to be drinking the dregs of my rum and Coke Zero. But like I say, I'm going to have one more with just the rum. Did you know anything about the cancelled Nightfire sequel, Phoenix Rising? Would you ever make your old videos you took down viewable for Patreon subs? That's actually what I've been thinking about doing, Kenneth. So yeah, the making the old ones viewable for Patreon subscribers, because some of those old videos I'm not that keen on, proud of anymore. So yeah, but anyway, I don't actually know that much about the Nightfire cancelled sequel, but I think it might be worth doing some investigating to maybe do a video on someday, because I'm always practicing, preaching that I love Nightfire so much, and I don't actually know that much about the sequel. So, the Bond Experience, David Zaritsky's here. Hello, David. I'll drink that. Did you do a review of the rum already? I did indeed. I had a little neat drink in this, and then I've been drinking it with some Coke, but I hear it's really good with pineapple juice. So I'm going to have to look to getting some of that. But yeah, no, it's really good. Very bourbony. And I do like a nice bourbon. So that's, yeah, I mean, I think it's terrific, actually. Right, that's it for the mixed one. I'm going to pour myself another neat one to sip for maybe about 10 minutes or so, and then I think I might have to call it a night, because my liver maybe can't take so much of this. A Bond Experience, it is bourbony. Great. I'm glad you agree. Very dark as well. Very dark rum, that. Right, what do you like more, the Bond books or the movies? Oh, it's very difficult to compare. I'm gonna go with movies, but because if I was on like a desert island and I only had access to one of them, it would have to be the movies. But the books are terrific in their own way. Like I had a much better time reading them through, because I only read them through in their entirety about 3 years ago, something like that, and I was surprised at how fantastic they were. Really. Greslu Doubleo's here. Greslu Doubleo, the amazing Bond. Oh, thanks for the shout out. Good, I'm glad that you heard it. Oh, lovely. Also, that golden gun back there looking pretty. Yep. God, it's about 10, 11 years old now, is that golden gun. It's quite crazy to think. Dan R again. Hello, Dan R. Cheers. I'll drink to you. My neat rum now. Oh, it's very good. Oh, it's very, very good. It warms you up. And it's been snowing here today, so I'm in need of some warming up. Which Bond location would you like to have a nice honeymoon? Well, I'm drinking the rum. Does GoldenEye count? I'd love to go to Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica. But yeah, because I think Chris Blackwell owns GoldenEye, doesn't he? Which is an estate, I believe. I don't actually know that much about it, which is perhaps it's one of those things I don't like looking into it, because if I look into it too much, I'll want to go, and then I'll be like, I can't go. Right, Matthew Sutton, will you be reviewing any more Roger Moore films, Seawolves perhaps? It's certainly my intention. I've got quite a few on my shelf ready to watch. So, Samar, hello Samar. Which post-Octopussy film are you most excited about reviewing? I'm actually super excited to talk about License to Kill. I'm really excited to talk about that, because I think that is going to be the review that has changed the most. I think I might have to like re-upload my old review on it to kind of show how much my opinion on it has changed in 10 years, however long it'll have been. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm really not looking forward to Never Say Never Again, which is going to be the next one after Octopussy, but who knows? Maybe I'll appreciate it on a whole other level. I probably won't, but we'll see. Peter McCormick again. Calvin, have you seen the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer? I think it looks really fun. I agree with you, Peter. I think it looks really fun. I watched it, funnily enough. A friend of mine sent it me just before I went live on here, and I think it looks terrific. I'm really excited for it, actually. Whether I see it at the cinema or in my living room or whatever, I will be watching it whenever it comes out on whatever platform. Johan, I'm really excited to listen to you talk about License to Kill as well. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy it, Joe. I'll have a little sip to that. Mike Snow, I love your James Bond Jr. commentary. Will you do any more? Oh, thank you, Mike. Yes, that's on the James Bond and Friends podcast, which we started looking at the James Bond Jr. episodes. And yes, I believe there are plans to do more. I don't organize that one, but I believe that there are plans, yes. And I love talking about James Bond Jr. Oh, George, you're already very much looking forward to your review of License to Kill, but I hope it doesn't disappoint. I'm really, the Timothy Dalton fans are probably not going to like me after my review of The Living Daylights, which, I mean, it has been a while since I watched it, so I might have come around to it more, but the last time I watched it, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't get it. Whereas License to Kill, on the other hand, I'm like very firmly on the bandwagon of these days. Ben Cole, I watched Never Say Never Again the other day. I enjoyed it more than I usually do. The model effects are still crap, though, not a patch on Derek Meddings. That's my remembering from when I last saw it, when you see some of those missiles flying over and stuff, and it's like, eh. And I remember the climax of that film being terrible. Joshua Parham, Daylights, the top 5 for me. Yeah, I know, it's like, it's really like the two Bond films that frustrate me the most from this perspective are From Russia with Love and The Living Daylights, because I want to love them so much, and every time I enter them, I was just come away a little bit cold. I enjoy them, but I don't love them, if that makes any sense, and I feel ashamed for that. Zachary Antle again, thank you very much, Zachary Antle, and the super chat. Thoughts on Pete as director? I wish he got more recognition in the filmmaking world in general. He's an unsung hero of mine. I've not actually had that much experience with his films. I've really only seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Gold, the Roger Moore film that I did a review of not that long ago, actually, on this channel. But I thought he's terrific. Like in Gold as well, which I believe was his first film after Majesty's Secret Service that he directed. But it's terrific. I mean, he has some phenomenal, I think he shoots beautiful films for a start. Like, I think just cinematography wise, and I mean, Gold I was really impressed with more from a directing standpoint than a story standpoint. I felt like it lagged a little bit and dragged and whatnot, but overall I really rate him. Like, I'm interested to see more of his stuff as a result of that. I understand he was quite difficult to work with. When I was doing some research on Gold, like, the producer's son or something was talking about how irritating he was to work with, and I was like, oh, he made great stuff though. Thunderstorm 89 Gamer, thank you very much. Should Baron Samedi returned in another film? A part of me would have loved it just because I love Jeffrey Holder. But it would have, like, I like his appearance at the end of Live and Let Die because it's just a nice little supernatural flourish to end the film on, whereas if he'd have actually come back, we would have been having debates about the existence of supernatural within the Bond universe, and that might have been, you know, I regret making that Dolly's Braces video. I tell you, some of the comments I get on that, as much as I love the Bond fandom, there is a small, very small group of people who are very rude about Dolly's Braces. Like, okay, I don't care that much. Chris Carlin, thank you very much, Chris Carlin. Do you think there will ever be any Bond spin-off movies? I would like to see something based on the other 00s or M's backstory in the military. That would be a thing that I have seen. Sort of like, you know, fans would love it. A Felix Leiter TV series. I think that would be a really terrific thing, like a Netflix series or something. I would quite like it. The thing is, I don't want the Bond universe to expand to a point where it's like Star Wars or Marvel or something like that. I don't think that it needs to, but I think that a little bit would be great. I would like a little bit of something, even if it's just to carry us fans through to the next film. It is a shame that as Bond fans, we are quite new content droughted, particularly at the moment, with nothing on the immediate horizon, new content wise, which is a shame. But hey, at least we've got plenty of other stuff. Paul Lally, hey Paul Lally. I'll drink to you, sir. Hello, I'm drinking Blackwell rum tonight, which is a very nice bourbony taste, which is quite nice for me. Paul Lally asks, who would you cast as Felix, and how would you make it distinct from Bond? That is a very good question. I don't really know who I'd cast it. I don't think that they've ever quite nailed the casting of Felix, and I think what Paul says about how would you make him distinct from Bond is a really important thing, because as much as I love Jeffrey Wright as Felix, there's not all that much difference character-wise between him and Daniel Craig's Bond. It's like, you know, they're both quite downbeat and hushed, and I think like that is a relationship that you see in the Fleming books where you could get a lot more contrast in there, which would be ideal. David Hedison and Roger Moore had a nice camaraderie. But I don't know, in terms of who would I cast, I'm trying to think of American actors. Not Chris Pratt, not exactly Chris Pratt, but I think someone of that ilk would be quite interesting. Someone who is maybe a little bit more, but then I guess if he's too happy-go-lucky and charismatic, you have the issue of him potentially outshining Bond, which is, of course, where they ended up with a lot of the Felixes in Sean Connery's time. It's like, no, you stay back at the base. We don't want you outshining our star. But I think that kind of a contrast. Well, I'm thinking of that contrast in terms of contrasting against Daniel Craig, actually, the kind of Chris Pratt, more happy-go-lucky kind of thing. But someone like that, I think. I hope that was a coherent answer and not just a massive waffly stream of consciousness. Oh, here's a good question from Adriano17. Should Bond have a love affair with Moneypenny? Oh, I never want to see it. I never want to, I like it that it's that they don't. I thought they actually handled it really well in Skyfall, where she's shaving him and then they cut and they're at the casino and you don't really know if they did, but maybe they did in your mind, maybe they didn't, and I like that ambiguity and I want them to keep that ambiguity. I don't know if I'd want them to ever fully go down that route. Kenneth Wilburn again, thank you very much, Kenneth Wilburn. Do you think you will ever make another unseen Bond scenes video? Do you think some of the scenes will ever be released? Was some of them destroyed? Oh, I think undoubtedly some of them were destroyed, particularly from some of the earlier films, which is such a shame. Like, unless it's like, the executor to Peter Hunt's estate has these film cans in a loft somewhere and they just haven't been digitized, something like that. I mean, if there were ever more deleted scenes released, I would totally make another video on them. I think some of the deleted material videos are not my videos, but the videos that we have, like on the Blu-rays and the like. I think they're really interesting in terms of like what could have been and all that kind of stuff. No, I think like some of the early ones, like that deleted scene that I talked about from Fresh with Love, where Karen May crashes into the car of the thing, I don't think they exist anymore. And it's such a shame. I mean, certainly everything from like the 90s onwards, I would have thought exists somewhere. But I would just like watch the rushes, like just every bit of film that they took on the set. I mean, most of us would probably watch that and love that. Who Wami says, your Blackwell rum has been aged in bourbon casks. That's where the bourbon flavor comes from. That's very interesting. Is that on here? I don't think that's on here, but it does talk about warmth and sensuality, and I certainly feel warm and sensual right now after having quite a bit of this. It's a little bit too nice, if I dare say. Oh, Georgia again. Georgia Eddy. Hello, howdy. Have you ever had the opportunity to watch Penny Dreadful? If so, I would love to hear your opinion of it. I think Timothy Dalton delivers a wonderful performance, and I haven't seen Penny Dreadful. To actually see what streaming service it's on, if it's on a streaming service, because with Eva Green, Josh Hartnett, Timothy Dalton, that's a trio of actors that I really love, and the three of them together, I'm amazed that I haven't seen it yet, quite honestly. But yeah, no, I thank you for that, because I think that's reminded me, actually, I'm gonna have to go and have a look, see if I can find that somewhere. I heard it was a really good series, and with those actors, I'm kind of sold. Matthew Sutton, have you watched the Alex Rider series on Amazon Prime? I did, and I loved it. I thought it was terrific. After being really disappointed by the movie that came out in whenever that was, 2006 or something, because I loved those books when I was a kid. I've not read all of them because I kind of felt, because the gaps ended up, and you grew out of it. I grew out of it, started reading Ian Fleming, so I've not read them all, but yeah, I need to look into that. Sorry, look into the books, not the series. I've watched the series. The filmmaker, good evening. Right. Oh, Penny Dreadful is on Now TV. Thank you very much for that. Metal Jedi Pirate. That is a terrific name, Metal Jedi Pirate. Thank you very much. On the N64, would you play as Oddjob or Bond? That's from Daniel Morrison. I would always pick Xenia actually. She was always my favorite character when I was a kid. So, yeah. Oh, Movie Guy, do you still own a PS3? You should play Red Dead Redemption 1. It's better than Red Dead Redemption 2. Really? I do still have a PS3 because I need to have something to play my Bond games on. That's why I've kept my Nintendo Wii, because they play the GameCube games and the PS3. I really only keep consoles if there's a Bond game to be played on it. Because those are really the only Bond games those are really the only games that I revisit. Because I feel like I need to keep the consoles to revisit, because I love Mario and Pokemon and stuff, but they released them again, you know, in the virtual consoles and things. So it's I wish they'd do that with Bond. I wish I could just have them all on a new console, but anyway. Oh, the filmmaker. I have to say, I loved your Vertigo intro on your latest video. Hilarious, great stuff covered. I really enjoyed filming that Vertigo intro, and I'm glad people got the reference. Because I had that prepared as well, like I say in the video, because I was like, the No Time to Die dolly is going to come eventually. I didn't think it would come while I was asleep. So I like woke up. I was like, oh, I need to go and make a video quickly before my working day begins. Jack Scorer, hey Calvin, if you could have a Bond villain, who would you have? And also the other way around. Ooh, that is a good question. Sean Bean as Bond would have been terrific, definitely. In terms of a Bond who could be a villain, probably Connery, or maybe Dalton. I don't know if Moore could have done a sort of a fun, campy villain, but I don't know if he could have done a serious one. And Brosnan, I don't know either, but Connery would have been a really good villain. Tony Woolley, have one more for the road. Well, Tony, you have timed that perfectly, because I have one sip left of this Blackwell rum. And that was great. So I'm gonna call it quits now, because I've been here for nearly 2 hours now. So thank you, so Ben Cole, Josh Parr, like everyone who's been here since the start. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's always fun doing these, and I hope to do them more often, because they are an awful lot of fun. I do appreciate it, and I guess just thank you for tuning in and just having a nice chat and all this kind of stuff. It's been really fun, and stay tuned. Like I say, next Sunday is going to be when I'm going to be uploading my Octopussy in-depth review, which is going to be long. It might be the longest one yet. I'll see. Patreon supporters should be getting it Wednesday, I hope, because I've got all tomorrow to work on it, and then maybe a little bit on Tuesday if it needs to be, and then it depends on whether or not it gets copyright, notifications or whatever, but hopefully not, fingers crossed. But otherwise, yeah, that's the next big one coming, and then there's going to be plenty more videos, obviously, coming up. So thank you, Mr. 11 Ryan. Hope you don't have a hangover. Well, I probably will, but I've got tomorrow off work, so that's good. East-Based Productions, please, can you say gay rights? Gay rights? Definitely. Jesus Christ, yes, no question about it. And that feels like a good note to end on. So bye everyone. Take care. Peter, Ben Cole, Movie Guy. Take care, Kara. Okay. So long everyone. Take care.